Federal Reserve likely to reduce number of future rate cuts in next week's forecast, which ultimately is causing the entire market to pump. Now, we need to talk about GameStop reporting earnings before we get into the CPI report and how it's going to affect the market, which ultimately will affect our meme / short squeeze plays, and talk about crypto and some other things. So make sure to watch until the end of the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's figure out where everything is going and what direction we have to play it. GameStop just reported earnings yesterday. This is the legitimate SEC filing, so if you'd like to take a screenshot of this, you can. A brief breakdown of GameStop earnings is this. So the company delivered an earnings per share of 6 cents, which surpassed analysts' expectations of a loss of 3 cents. Making a positive surprise of 9 cents. So that is good for number one. Revenue came in at $860.3 million, representing a 20.2% decline year over year and missing the $887.6 million consensus estimate. That is not good for number two. Number three, the direct registered shares, aka DRS shares, were approximately 16%, which is a slight decline from earlier reports, but it is okay. I will explain why that. The reason that probably is because the company actually diluted more shares, and shareholders aren't rapidly DRSing their shares as more and more shares become available on the market. So that is why that probably has happened. Now, following the earnings announcement, GameStop obviously had a very positive reaction. Then it got taken back down because of the scumbag short sellers manipulating the stock. And then today it's rising more, which we're going to talk about the chart. And GameStop did have some bad things that you could see in the report. So it's a little bit of a mixed filing, but if you want to look at it in a positive way, this is GameStop profit improvement in millions of dollars since Q1 of 2023, which shows a very good trajectory ahead. And overall, we saw majority what we would like to see, and that's why GameStop is reacting well and has reacted well. Okay, keep in mind, institutional ownership is the highest we have ever seen it, even though dilution has occurred. Institutions have been absolutely loading their boats on GameStop, whether that is every institution teaming up to suppress the price or every institution buying for a squeeze. And the second one is more likely. And the only reason I say that is because whatever institutions are already in have already naked shorted this, in my personal opinion, with unlimited short exempts trying to throw a rock in the momentum, which is going to ultimately bring us into the chart. But before we do that, here is a screenshot of 2021 to 2024, basically showing that we are about to rapidly rip straight to the moon. Now, GameStop, I told you the $31 level, they want to keep it under because of that. The buy testing that we saw, and then that 26.45 level, they want to keep it above, or they don't necessarily care if it's below. And we saw that rejection at 31 overnight, and now we are slowly climbing back up to get above that. If I bring us on a shorter time frame, you can see GameStop is just trying to get above this resistance level and break to the upside. Now, we saw a sell-off down here after GameStop played this very similar pattern, and you saw the same sell-off. And then today you are seeing a little bit of a different move. If you were to see the same move that you saw all the way down here, basically from today, this is where you'd cap out at, which brings us to resistance, which is where we're trading at. It's very simple. You take the leg of this move and you add it to this move, and you get where we're trading at now. So where is AMC going, or where is GameStop going to go? Well, if you drag a couple of things out, GameStop could get rejected all day today, and it's likely going to close under 31, but we are up 11%. So what this means is we are carrying a lot of momentum on our back, and it's not just momentum in the stock price. GameStop's net premium is nearing 2 million as GameStop moves closer to 30, which is the highest open interest and spot gamma that we have seen, or that we are seeing at that $30 level. You can see that, right? So a lot of people are betting that GameStop is going to be above $30. And once we hit there, you're likely to see a major fight, right? If we can close above $30 or $31, you're likely to see that gamma ramp, that more of that squeeze start to happen at a more rapid rate. So ultimately, I tripled down on my calls today, and Discord knows that. And I still assume we see that move up to 46 at least by January, mid-January. Okay. That is ultimately what I'm watching, and we could go much higher than that. As far as AMC goes, I said we had to hold 435. We are holding 435 exactly on the dot. We bounced off of it yesterday, and we are getting a whole candle right now, but we are very close to it, and it's not getting even a fraction of a sympathy move from GameStop. Now, why is that? And is AMC going to bounce? Well, obviously we had recent dilution, so it's hard to just come out of that, especially seeing a company in a ton of debt and then diluting. But keep in mind, institutional ownership is still increasing. Why that might be is because institutions see something happening, right? It's the same thing with GameStop. If you were to draw a line and figure out how much institutions are buying, why they're buying, you can see that they're buying at the highest rate that we have seen since basically back here, right? When we saw that major drop, institutions were loading the boat on the way down, and you saw that they didn't stop loading the boat until about December of 2023, right? So if you come and you take a look at AMC for December of 2023, let's take a look here. This is where AMC is trading at December of 2023, right? This little area right here. So why institutions stop buying there? I can't necessarily pinpoint exactly why institutions stop buying there, but we are going to use that as a zone as to where institutions may want to exit or enter their position. So I'm going to use this as sort of a liquidity zone, that if we get into this zone at $6, right, where institutions ultimately stop buying, some will be potentially attempting to take profits. And if we get past the top of the zone at $8, some will potentially be entering positions for that larger move higher. Now, Ethereum Classic did get this bounce candle up 11% along with GameStop, but you can see AMC's chart is still in this decline, like we just saw with Ethereum Classic, which means I just assume, one can only assume, right, that AMC is due for a nice little bounce, whether that's up to 475, 490, or past the highs, right? So we'll see if momentum wants to follow through there, but ultimately I see a pop in AMC. SPY is trading at 608.02. And this is obviously because of the CPI report that came out. Now, we do have more data coming out tomorrow, so don't be necessarily solidified in your positions just yet. CPI inflation rises to 2.7% in line with expectations. Core CPI was 3.3%, also in line with expectations. Headline CPI inflation is now at its highest level since July of 2024. So inflation has leveled off above the Fed's 2% target. So what does this necessarily mean? Well, BlackRock sees this as a very, very positive catalyst if the Fed likely cuts rates even more. Now, here's the problem with this, right? The December 18th meeting is when Fed Powell is going to decide that. Now, he decided that on a month-to-month basis, looking at the data is how they are going to react. So what this could mean, first of all, BlackRock sees $6.77 trillion will push into cash, from cash into stocks and bonds if this does occur. But it's not likely to occur, and that's why they are putting out this major news, this major article, right? Basically wanting people to FOMO into the stock market before it crashes. The Fed is likely to reduce the number of rate cuts, in my opinion, and the only reason I say that is because Fed Jerome Powell is taking it step by step, and if he's seeing that we have already are coming to their 2% goal, it may be time to, either raise rates, which would cause a crash, or just pause for a little bit, which would slowly bring the melt up to an end. Now, the SPY has recaptured this channel, which is great. So if we close anywhere above 607.80, that is a beautiful thing to see for the SPY. So basically 608, which we're trading at right now. If we close here, which this could be a fake out, and then tomorrow's news could cause a major dump back down sub 603. So keep an eye on that. But if we close above this and news tomorrow is all right, you're likely going to see us hold up in this channel until we see a breakout of this rising wedge to 623, hopefully, and that will be our essential top on the SPY, which could happen on the 18th, or it could happen later than that. But now that this meeting is a little bit further and we are seeing more positive news come into the melt up, the crash is likely very, very soon. Now, we need to talk about crypto and how this also affected crypto. Someone bought 1,000 Bitcoin worth $97 million on Binance. So while retail panicked, whales bought the dip. Coming into Bitcoin, you can see we are trying to break out of this flag, but we aren't quite getting this breakout. Okay, we are testing it, which one more candle building off of this could be a nice move higher, but how much higher? Are we going to re-break 103,500? Maybe not. If we look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, you can see that we are likely to retrace back down to 100,074, come down to this level, 100,074, and then come back up and fight this level at 101,092 again. Now, if we get to 101,277, and then we get to 101,554, which I think we will get to, you could see large, at least dumps on Bitcoin to recapture this top right here, right? Come base off of it and then come higher. So that level is 101,554. If you come to 101,554 again, which is very close to Bitcoin's target, you're likely to see us come back down and base off this flag before moving higher, essentially. So that is what I will be watching for Bitcoin. Again, we need to pay attention to the news for tomorrow. Speaking of Bitcoin, Microsoft shareholders voted against the Bitcoin investment proposal, which leads me into the Magnificent Seven. As you can see, everything is doing well. Microsoft has been climbing. Google has been climbing, especially after announcing their new chip. We gapped over this level, built off support, hit our next level of what was supposed to be resistance, but we are smashing through it, and Google is now sitting at all-time highs. If Google kept this up and let's say we didn't get a crash, we're coming up to 260. Tesla, same thing, broke to all-time highs today above 414, now trading at 417, likely to get rejected at 421 in my opinion if we break above that 458. I want you to keep an eye on PayPal as well, fighting resistance. If we break above this, which we already tested it, you're coming above $100 on PayPal. Now this leads me to say I did close my calls on Nvidia, not because I don't think there's more downside, but I only closed them for a 15% loss, and seeing everything go green is not something that I want to hold. I'd rather wait for confirmation, which would probably be a break below this candle again at about 134, right? If we broke below this wick, maybe a re-entry for Nvidia, but I just wanted to put that out there. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Make sure to come join the Discord. The link is in the top of the description. I post my trades as soon as I enter them. We talk stocks and crypto all day long with the most amazing people. So if you guys are not in there, stop sleeping on it. You can come talk one-on-one with me. Talk stocks and crypto, level yourself up with the best people around you. We also have option sweep alerts, dark pool trade alerts, insider trade alerts, and market news. So it's a one-stop shop where you really don't need anything else. This is a great family that is forming in here, and we are getting a bunch of new members. Now, if you want free stocks, use the Moomoo link, open an account, make a deposit into your account. It should take you 2 minutes, no more. And after you do that, Moomoo is going to give you up to 15 free stocks, which you can which you can hold or sell, completely up to you. They're also giving you 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash. So whenever you're not in a trade, you are collecting a high interest. So it's very, very safe. And they have a ton of great tools like level 2 order book data for free, access to shorting and going long, obviously, as a retail trader, viewing other exchanges, a customizable earnings calendar, and more. So go use Moomoo, open an account through them, and make a deposit so we both get hooked up with some free stocks. That is it, guys. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.